Serving Tampa Bay since 1954. The Heritage Station. WTMP, Egypt Lake, Tampa, Clearwater, 97.5 in Pinellas.
See, we got listeners, so people know that. Alrighty. And here Gabriel walking in.
Latin time, brother.
As we start this show. Good afternoon, Tampa Bay. We're glad to be with you again. This is your favorite radio host, Eddie Adams Jr., Porch Talk Radio. Gabriel Phillips just walking in the door.
President.
But he's here. He's here. All that's important. We got a great show for you today. I know you guys missed me last week. I had my 50th, that's 50, high school reunion last weekend. So I had to go hang out with some of the folks in the old town, and you guys have heard stories about Lake Wales, Florida. So it's only one. It's only one Lake Wales, Florida on this planet, and I gotta say that, you know. And 50 years is an accomplishment because there was a lot of people who couldn't make it. Not because of COVID, not because of anything else, because they're pushing up daisies, as the old folks used to say. And you know, they get their mail delivered by earthworms. In other words, they're dead. You know.
What?
I'm just trying to.
You mean they're all voting Democrat?
Add a little humor. Add a little humor to them. Yeah, they all voting Democrat, as Gabriel just said. So anyway, we're gonna get the show started. We got a great show for you today. Great topic for you today. And we got some guests, you know, for you today. So again, we got everything happening today. So anyway, for those who want to call in during the show, remember I'm saying call in during the show. You know that those kind of come in together, because if you call me on my cell phone during the show, you won't get no answer. I'm just telling you right now. So don't. But there's people gonna do it. I'm just saying I can't answer you. And I'm not being unusually rude.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just being rude. So
there you go.
Because I've already told you I can't answer the phone. So for those who call anyway, and they're listening, and they will call, you know, I can't answer. So here we go. We're gonna get started. For those who want to call during the show, cell phone number. I'm gonna call TMP phone number to be on the air. Because if you call, you're gonna be on the air. Be on the air is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. For those who want to call me after the show, or those who want to call me through the course of the week because something happened or something you want us to know about, you can call me on my cell phone. You know, I'm one of the few radio personality hosts who give out their real cell phone number because this is a community show. This is about building and making the community better for everybody. So for those who want to call me and have the conversation after the show or during the week, some people call me on Sundays. I guess they think I have more time on Sunday, but Sunday got the same number of hours as all the rest of the days of the week. I'm just saying that to remind you people, you know, because some of you might not be aware of that. But anyway, my cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number is 813-12. For those who want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE. And I hate when people ask me EDD why. I don't know why, you know, but it's never been EDD why. I think
that's just wrong.
I think that's the girl spelling for
the feminine. Ain't you in touch with your feminine side, Eddie?
For Eddie, so we're not politically correct. I say that all the time, and I say that for a reason, so I don't have to sit here and try to figure out. You know, for me, there's two genders, male and female. For those who haven't figured it out,
is that a biological thing?
I know that there are 12 or 20 other variations that some people who are politically correct, trying to keep it all straight. I'm simple. I'm simple-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta remember you guys, telling you guys all the time that I'm simple-minded. I don't complicate simple things. You know, because there are people who take the simplest thing, black and white. Then everything is gray. Nothing is really black and white. Here, we make everything black and white.
Simple.
I don't confuse colors. I say white folks, and I say black folks. and I say Hispanic. So that way I kind of people can tell who I'm talking about.
No confusion, Eddie.
Yeah, don't blur the lines between what's going on.
No.
So anyway, at the end of the day, and I got to say something before I actually get into the rest of the show. I mean, and like I said, we got a great show. But while I was away, now I saw something that I hadn't seen, I guess, give or take in 100 years or so. I saw a bunch of white folks on horses with whips and guns beating black folks. Yeah, I mean, folks, I couldn't believe my eyes, and it wasn't like a movie or something. It was real life. It was in Texas. They were whipping Haitians.
It was like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they was on the horses, and if Haitians can walk across that river like they were doing,
How'd they get there?
but Mexicans been walking across that same river. I mean, I always thought the river was so deep that it was like a barrier or something.
In some spots, yes.
But I mean, I saw the line go all the way across the river.
Some spots
People
in
was
there.
literally on the bank on one side, on the bank on the other side, and all the way across.
The borders are closed. Remember that, Eddie.
But I'm just saying, if Haitians can go to Mexico and walk across the river, I'm thinking Mexicans probably been doing that at least 100 years, at least since they've been
long as
closed.
they've existed.
Anyway, I just had to throw that out because, once I get started with a topic or something, I'm old, and I don't mind saying I'm old, it takes time to get old. It don't just happen. A lot of people don't make it,
That's true, a lot don't.
When you go, like I said, I went to my reunion, a lot of people wasn't there because they dead, so anyway, I am glad to be here with some folks from THAP, from 5508, because they got an event coming up. And if you remember last year, we played a big part in trying to promote what was happening over there. And that's when a lot of you guys may have learned about, it's been over 100. Think about this. Over 100 race riots in this country in which white folks, being who they are, for whatever the reasons they thought they had, literally attacked the black community, shot, killed, raped, burned, looted. I mean, like before the Civil War. I mean, literally went in. I don't care who you are. If you're black, we're gonna shoot you. We're gonna rape you. We're gonna castrate you. We're gonna do all these crazy things. We're gonna burn down your house. We're gonna burn down your farm. We're gonna shoot all your animals, and literally drop bombs on you. I mean, literally have an Air Force come in airplanes and drop bomb and kill people, black folks. Okay, I mean, many of you have heard this before.
Sound like a resilient bunch. They're still here.
We put up with this for ever since 1619. Somebody
Ain't giving up.
Since 1619, when the first black slaves came to this country. That's a long time. And the fact of the matter that and like I said when I was here last, we are a resilient people. We worse than cockroaches. We can stand anything and everything. I mean, just because we survived the transatlantic trafficking that went on back in the day. They used to stack black folks up, in ships like they were corn, like they was cabbage, like they was plants, not any kind of animal or any kind of people. I mean, literally. So anyway, I got two young ladies here. They're going to introduce themselves to you, and they're going to tell you about what's happening, and then we're going to have a conversation. All right? You guys want to start?
All right. Thank you so much, Eddie. We appreciate being here. Thank you for allowing us to have this time. My name is Ingrid Young, and I am the event chair for the Black Wall Street Experience 2021. We did have our first experience in 2019, and of course last year during COVID, or the onset of COVID, we did not have an event. So we are back this year, still trying to be distant to some degree and careful as we can be, but we are back with the Black Wall Street Experience. that will be happening on the campus of the Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan, THAP group for short. And I am also a board member on the THAP, for the THAP group. So I'm just glad to be able to bring this this community event to the Tampa Bay area, and we really are looking forward to learning a lot and sharing a lot with the community, not just the Black community, but with everybody. But we certainly want to be able to present this in the best possible way. And I have with me one of our subcommittee chairs, and that is Ms. Mikelia Coffey, so I'll let her talk to you a little bit as well.
Hello Tampa, my name is Mikelia Coffey, and as Ingrid said, I am the programming chair for the Black Wall Street Expo, and I'm very excited to be here as a Tampa native. This event actually is very important to me because it speaks to our community. Just so you know, the event kicks off on Friday, October 8th, and we have at 6 o'clock our kickoff. We'll also have Representatives Fred Hearns, who's the curator of the African American History Tampa Bay History Center, and Beatrice Farrell, who's the executive director of the Deuces Live in St. Pete. So they're going to discuss the heyday of these two major cities and Black businesses in those districts in the Tampa Bay area and surrounding communities. So that's going to be a great history lesson on that day to kick off our event. On Saturday, October 9th, we start at 9 a.m. and from 10 to 10:45, we're actually going to be offering yoga, and it's going to be done by the Meditative Lounge in Ybor. So there's going to be yoga and meditation that you can come and participate in. So bring your yoga mats, and we're going to have a great time and get ready for the rest of the day's events. At 11, from 11 to 11:45, we have a live podcast going on with Joshua Bent. He hosts a podcast called Econics, and he's going to talk about the state of Black business in Tampa Bay. And he has some amazing panelists, Ben Walker and Jimmy Landron. So please be there because they're going to have a great discussion. At noon, we have our keynote from Wells Fargo Representative Michelle Maynard. She's the VP of Community Development with Wells Fargo, and she's going to give us some great words and let us know why it's so important for us to have an event like the Black Wall Street Expo.
Okay, let me. I know you guys are getting all this great information, and we're going to repeat everything you're hearing. You're going to hear it again before the show is over. But it's something I have to say, or else I will be dismissed by a lot of people if I don't mention the fact that this is a young lady. See, most of the stuff we have going on is usually us gray-haired old farts.
We already growed up.
Kind of doing it. And one of the things I try to encourage with anything and everything that I'm involved with is how do we get the young Black folks involved? Mm-hmm. You know, because it's a task, you know, to make it happen. And the fact of the matter that you guys are spending time, energy, and effort, and this woman is chairmaning, you know, part of sharing part of this great event, you know, and for me not to let you guys know that, you know, I hear all the complaints, you know, but when we're got young Black folks doing good stuff, mm-hmm. you know, we need to say we got young Black folks doing
and
good
encouraging them and
doing good stuff.
Go get some more.
Eddie, I will say I totally agree with you because this entire staff that I'm working with is are young people. I've not worked with any of them before. This is my first time meeting all of them. And they have brought fresh, new ideas.
Excellent.
They are working.
Whoa.
Working hard. They're calling me. The only thing about them is I said, you all work some weird hours. They're texting me or emailing me at 12 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hey, I'm seasoned.
I like it. I'm seasoned.
I'm seasoned
I like
and
that.
I need my rest.
Uh-huh.
I will say I totally agree with you that I am so privileged to be working with them, and they are doing a fantastic job. And like you said, there's always the negative that you'll hear
Right.
about young people or how lazy they can be or whatever. But that does not apply to everyone. I certainly agree with you. So thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, and like I said, I had to. So we will continue. Again, they're gonna give us the contact information, who to call, where to call, who to show up again. And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, absolutely.
But I had to make sure I got that out because I'm seasoned also. And if I don't do it when I'm thinking about it, the hour will be over. I said I meant to do so and so and so, and now the show's gone. So
I'm not saying anything. I'm just quiet over there.
He's seasoned also.
Hey. Like me.
And what I will say is that we have a mixed bag for our presenters as well. So we're trying to touch every demographic with who we are bringing to the table to speak at this event. So we have people of all ages, all ranges, to really speak to the community because it's reflective of the community. And just to jump back in, we also have a Branding Your Unique Business session that will be held from 1:30 to 2. And we have Angie DeGante and Derek Holmes Jr. presenting that. Two young, energetic entrepreneurs here in the Tampa Bay area doing big things. So you definitely want to be there for that. If you have a business, you're trying to start a business, they're going to give you some good advice. They've been there during the groundwork and getting things done. So it's going to be an awesome session with them. And then at 2:30 to 3:30, we have a full hour panel on generational wealth, which is going to be so important. And we have Glenn Jones Sr., Shanna Jefferson, and a few other people speaking on that panel as well. And it's going to focus on how Black families can pass down wealth from one family member to another.
Wow.
And when I tell you we have a young lady, she is literally probably 30. She's already giving back to the community and teaching people how to build generational wealth. So that's
Awesome.
going to be excellent.
For those who just tuned in, because we have people who literally ride down the highway and hear somebody talking, say who you are and what it is we're talking about. We have to kind of keep reminding, because we get people who come in, all through the show from the very beginning to the end. So
Contact information.
Yeah, give them
Absolutely.
what we talking about.
So again, we are talking about the Black Wall Street Experience. I am Ingrid Young, the event chair for this event, and we also have Ms. Mikelia Coffey, who is one of our programming, or is over our programming subcommittee. And again, we're talking about the Black Wall Street Experience that is being sponsored by the Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan, scheduled for October the 8th through the 10th. And at this time, Mikelia is going over some of the programming, and in an effort to see the flyers for this information about it, go to THAP Group, THAP Group.org, THAPGroup.org, and you'll be able to click on events and see all of the event information. So I'll let Mikelia continue to tell you about some of the programming that's going on.
All right, and I'm just going to jump right back on in. On Sunday, if you can't make it in person, we're also offering a virtual platform for our Sunday sessions. So on Sunday, we have a virtual session that's going to be going on from 1 to 1:30, and it's called Code Switching in the Workplace. We have our moderator, Tony Seduco, and our panelists are Monica Simmons and Larnell Vickers. These are two dynamic career coaches. One's on the East Coast in New York, another one's in California, and they're going to give some great information on how to thrive in the workforce. So that will be held again from 1 to 1:30. And then from 1:30 to 2, we have a session called Black and Green, Radical Environmental Activism. And that's going to be with Walter Smith Jr. and Dr. Sonia Brookins. And this session will focus on how Americans, especially Black business owners in particular, can capitalize on sustainability efforts. And that would include recycling, the water industry, and solar energy as well. So we have a jam-packed weekend full of great information and sessions, and we definitely want to see you out there. And I do believe on Saturday, our big event at the Tampa Theater, we're going to feature a film screening and it's going to be The Pursuit of Happiness. So you definitely want to come on out to the Tampa Theater at 7:30 and join us to watch that with the community.
Now, one question I know everybody out there is saying to themselves because of the nature of what it is we're trying to do, how much does it cost? And, then how long do we have to buy tickets? If there are any tickets, something other. I know if you go to Tampa Theaters, there's going to be something to do that. So the one thing that, all you guys have been saying, okay, how much do it cost? How much do it cost? And you've been waiting on that. So tell them how much it's going to cost.
This is a no-cost event to the
Oh my
community.
goodness. How can these people have excuses not to go?
Absolutely. It is a no-cost event because we have great sponsors.
Mhm.
And I want to acknowledge those great sponsors. Wells Fargo, Suncoast Credit Union, Hillsborough County Economic Development, Pinellas County SBDC, the Minority Enterprise Development Corp., the CDC of Tampa, DSI Black Pages, and several other in-kind sponsors we have. And they have allowed us to be able to have this great event at no cost to the community. Now, of course, the Tampa Theater, as you mentioned, there will be a cost for that event. Tickets are $11.50, and if you are a member, a Tampa Theater member, their tickets are $8.50. But we'll be able to come out and, as Mikelia said, as a community, just be able to watch something together. We'll be able to distance because the theater will be ours, and we'll be able to distance ourselves. And the movie is The Pursuit of Happiness.
What kind of movie is that? Like an action movie? I'm not familiar with it.
Pursuit of Happiness is Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith.
Okay.
It's a true story, and it's kind of a
It's
feel-good movie, a
okay.
comeback.
Got it.
Yeah,
Stockbroker,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, that's a great
Absolutely.
movie. You're right.
Yeah. So that will be the movie, and again, all of these great sessions, everything is free of charge. So we are excited to be able to present this, and most certainly excited to be able to present it free of charge. And we want people to come out because we will have that Small Business Expo that's starting at 11 o'clock, also going until 3:30 on Saturday with various small businesses throughout the Bay Area that have that are vending with us, and so we want to support them. We certainly want everybody to come out and support the vendors. It's an outside event, so I want people to know that it's an outside
That
event.
sounds awesome, because we always tell people get off the couch and go do something. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what your age is, you can always learn something.
Absolutely.
And for the cost, what you said was how much?
I said it's no cost.
Oh my God, you have no excuse to keep your bottom on that
Wait,
couch.
that's zero?
Zero. Hello.
I don't understand new math. That mean nothing.
Nothing to go learn.
Wait, let me say it right.
Uh-oh.
That mean nothing.
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 Don't cost nothing.
So again, folks, we're
Absolutely.
trying to drive it home that your excuse for
Yeah.
sitting home, staying, complaining,
Yeah.
whining about the economy, about who's running what, get off your can, get involved, go out, get the information, begin to learn again. You must be able to learn again, and you cannot be married to bad ideas that don't work. I've been working with an online international store that's gone sideways on me. I spent a few dollars on it, but I am relearning how to make that thing work. And the guy that's teaching me, he's making about $6,000 to $8,000 a day. So folks, there is a way to make money, but you got to get off your backside and go get involved. And for the price of this, you just crazy if you ain't going.
Right. And let me throw my 2 cents out there too, because I remember several years ago when they actually, before COVID, okay, they actually did a play at that, and I went to the play, and it was a great play because it told the story of what happened. You know, when I was telling you when we first started talking, we're talking about, they dropped bombs, they killed, they raped, they burnt the farms, this was a black community that had almost everything. They had everything except for their own utilities. They had a black theater, had 2 black theaters. They had 800 black businesses within this community. They were more financially responsible and more financially advanced the black folks, the black little black community, than the white community was. That's why the white and again, see y'all who haven't heard me before, you know, I tell it like it is, so I don't bite my tongue, else it would be bit off by now because I've been doing this for so long, you know. But the white folks were literally jealous, you know, and they was upset, and the fact that the opportunity presented itself, and it usually always starts with a lie about some black dude did something, said something, winked, looked sideways at some white woman. And that's how it all started. And always in the end, they find out, okay, the black guy was innocent. He didn't do. The woman come, you know, she gets a heart, and she tells everybody, you know, I was mistaken. I was upset about something else, and that's how all these things started. But the momentum, what made it what it was, what made it so historical, you know, is the fact that the black folks were doing well. I hear all these stories all the time about black folks don't do this, don't do that, don't do, you know, they always, and the major media always put black folks down as to what we don't do and this and that, you know. But as I talked to you several weeks ago, and I told you, every now and then when we do well, when we doing something good, somehow, you know, somebody always comes and steps in and say, well, that's enough. You know, nobody ever tell white folks that's enough. I'm just saying. You know, they get to do and have billions of dollars.
Like Tesla?
Billions of dollars.
Billions.
They now have a race between, I guess, the three richest white folks on the planet, you know, because they racing to Mars. Okay, well, that's not something that we want to do. We having it hard enough right here. we got our own issues and stuff, you know, and if they want to take billions and billions of dollars and go to Mars, great. But see, when we try to do and achieve things within our limits here in the United States, and we've always been limited, you know, I remember, you know, colored water fountain and white water fountain. You know, there was a time when we was considered to be less than animals. I mean, people, black folks, was considered to be chattel, which is sheep, cows, dogs, pigs, chicken, roosters, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, and you got to think from which we come. And, you know, from the transatlantic trade to where we are now. And I got to take this time and opportunity to say, you know, we got a black man who is a multimillionaire who actually, over the last year or two, have went to several black universities, you know, historically black colleges, and paid the tuition for all the students. I mean, stuff like that. That's a step above. That's when you start looking out for your people.
Eddie, he could be getting a spaceship and going to space, you know.
Yeah, he could be. You know.
And let me just say one more thing. Eddie talked about Greenville, and what made it so successful is that the black dollar circulated in the community so many times. And we talk about today how long the black dollar stays in our community. Not long at all. Whereas other communities, our white friends, our Asian friends, our Jewish friends, the dollar stays in the community for around an average of like 28 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this expo that Ingrid brought up, this is our opportunity to start helping the black dollar circulate here in Tampa. So overall, I think this Black Expo is going to be a great experience, and hopefully you guys can come out.
Yes, and black businesses supporting black businesses is how this whole thing came about, how Black Wall Street came into existence. And we got a call. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Oh, thanks. This is Chris Steiner, Clearwater. I'm looking forward to the Black Wall Street experience. And since you're talking about economics, you know, and the dollar circulating in the community, there are more equitable forms of commerce that I think folks should explore. And I know are very successful, like barter networks, that, you know, you could say that it's a form of currency. It is based on the dollar, but not really per se. I have a friend who that really helped her business to not just survive but then thrive after the banking crisis. I know I mentioned when I called last time in 2008 and 2009, and then there's community currencies, time banks. I know there are 2 time banks here in this area, TampaBay area, TampaBay Time Bank, St. Pete Time Bank, cooperatives, swap shops, community gardens. And when it comes to these forms of commerce, and community currency is my favorite because it's the only one that's tangible, so you're not dependent on a computer to access it, although you can make transactions in some community currencies. But these allow us to keep our wealth local, and when we're having a shipping crisis now, we need to keep all the resources local as possible, and get rid of our brand loyalty to the dollar. Use it for things you need to, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities. But these are commerce media that the multinational corporations cannot use, so it can't go offshore. And with community currencies, they can be spent with other community currencies. When you start out a transaction, you agree to it in advance, like you would anyhow. But they're time-based, so you would exchange the same, say, half hour, quarter hour for the same denomination in another currency. And there are examples of people being able to do that. Once a community currency is popular enough, you can go to the chambers of commerce and then to city councils and county commissions who are always crying poor to raise your taxes and utility rates and say, hey, you can allow your public employees to be paid in the community currency, and they'll get an extra incentive of, say, an extra 10% of whatever they opt in to be paid. And that helps keep their loyalty local to the businesses where it belongs rather than persecuting them as law enforcement does. So I know in the UK there's Bristol and Brixton, they pay their public employees that way, like the mayor gets 100% in the Bristol pound. And there's so many other advantages, higher quality products and services rather than dangerous and defective stuff from China marts and all sorts of, getting more time to speak to your people in your community, become more civically involved, hopefully become healthier. So those are all the advantages.
Excellent.
Keeping us alive and healthy.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate that. And I'm just gonna add that may be a couple of seconds away from us now, because to be able to do and develop a community currency like that, it's gotta be planned out, and it's gotta be executed, and it's gotta have a significant part of the community involved with it.
Yep.
And because currently there's no one, at least I'm
There's
not
nothing
hearing.
there.
Yeah, I'm not hearing about it. So it has to. I'm telling you, like I heard, it's got to crawl before it walks. So it's got to be a baby, take baby steps, and work up to more and more people within the community using it, before we can get the mayor to accept money, in community currency. But it's a great idea,
I like it.
and it's coming. And one thing about something like that, the dollar circulating within the community becomes more and more popular because it is a community dollar, which means it may not have no value in Lakeland. If we got a Tampa community dollar, you go to Lakeland, they may say, well, it ain't good here. With the same thing happened in Europe. In Europe, they had all those different countries, and some of them one big as some of these cities in the United States. And if you go across the county line, if you go across the country line, your money was no longer void. No longer value.
Yeah.
So okay, you need some of our money in order to do this.
Right.
It has it up and it has it down. But my main point is that it's in the blender. It's being crushed and grinded and fortified to the point that where everybody can use it and it can become part of our community.
I think that might be something in the future. You guys all do your workshops and stuff.
Absolutely.
And the more seeds you guys are planting with
Absolutely.
your workshops now, just on trying to further people's understanding on how to make their stores go with new ideas, whether it's online stores or actual products they've got to go find from wholesalers. and then get the shipping down and the ship time, blah, blah, blah. This is just another, that was a really good idea,
Yeah.
but I think it has to, as Eddie says, the people have to be at a point
Right.
that they're not just scratching for dollars to go eat.
Right.
They got some groceries put aside, and then they've got some stuff. Oh, we
Yeah.
can barter.
Right.
We can
right.
barter this stuff. We're not gonna miss a meal if we barter this out.
Right.
And then, because I've got several online stores, and it's understanding that if you got all the stuff in an inventory, okay, you can swap, you can barter. People send me a message, hey, I'll swap you this for that.
Correct.
Oh, okay, I can do that. Or no, I'm not going to swap that out. But I have the stuff,
Right.
and that's
right.
what people need to grow to.
Well, that was the thing about Black Wall Street, which is Tulsa, a part of Tulsa,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, back in the day.
Greenwood.
The community of Greenwood.
The community of Greenwood, correct.
Which is still there. And I'm gonna say something I heard, and I saw this video about the Greenwood City Council are in the process of trying to do reparations. This is a city local something reparation because those blacks who lost, who had family members shot, killed, raped, lost so much back then. And then the United States of America ran an interstate highway through the middle of the community
Correct.
to make sure they were dead and gone. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying it's some things that happen that everybody knows wrong. I mean, there's no question about it. I don't care how you feel about, what happened. It was wrong. Not only did they shoot, kill, mug, bomb, burn, destroy the community, it didn't die. They still got people around who remember what happened. All those businesses, went away. But the remnant, I'm telling you what you cannot destroy. You can't destroy a good idea. A good idea takes on a life of its own.
Eddie, now also, and just to clarify, you're talking about reparations, and I know that gets muddled up with politics a lot, but reparations, and I think you clarified this one time, it could be just land, go build, here's some land, go build, I don't know about the mule thing, but here's some land, go build some stuff on it, whatever you want to do, it's yours. And I think that's where it's been politicized so much that, that means you got to get $5,000 a month check. Well, I want one of those, but it's like, my parents, I didn't have any slaves, or, okay, that's not, then we kind of lose it and it gets political,
Right,
that's crap.
right.
So, but if reparations say, hey, here's some land, or here's some startup money for an organization you guys put together, here's you $500,000. Wow, that, if we get the politics out of it, that would be awesome.
And we got several groups, several organizations around Tampa, between Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Lakeland, in this area. Generally, the economy within the black community is hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, that's black dollars that could be spent with black businesses. I mean, literally, that's an economy that's bigger than a whole bunch of other places around the world. And if we ever got enough sense and decided it was something that we wanted to do, I'm tell you what I do. Every day, I find and look for new black businesses. And I make it my business at least once a week. I live in Temple Terrace. And if you know anything about Temple Terrace, it's mostly white folks. But I make sure I go to where black folks have black businesses, and I spend my money with them. I don't do it all the time, but I make the effort. If everybody made the effort, regardless of where you live, to go spend your money, spend some of your money. You ain't got, they don't offer everything. You're not gonna be able to spend your money with Black Tampa Electric, because we don't own many utilities or the water. But all the other food, construction, many of the other services, service industries, there's a lot of black companies that own those kind of things, and not that it's convenient. Sometimes it's inconvenient to go find them, but the purpose is to build the economy that we all can enjoy the growth. Businesses, black businesses supporting black businesses. That's what we need to do. And we got a whole weekend full of stuff that she's going to tell you about again, you know. And you can pick one or two. Maybe you can't go to all of them. Pick a couple of them. And I'm talking to all the black folks out there, all the white folks out there, all the Hispanic folks out there, you know, because knowledge is what makes you a better person. You know, too often I've heard stupid excuses like I didn't know, you know, when it's available for you to know.
And especially free.
Free. Yeah. Yeah. F-R-E-E.
There you go.
You know.
It's a 4-letter word, we understand, but it's a good one.
Yeah. And it can make the difference. So let's tell them again what's happening.
So again, I am Ingrid Young, and thank you again for allowing me to be here. I'm the event chair for this fabulous event, the Black Wall Street Experience. It is being hosted by the Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan, and let me give you that address. It is 5508 North 50th Street, Tampa, Florida, 33610. 5508 North 50th Street, Tampa, Florida. And that is where all of the events will take place. And we are starting on October the 8th with we'll have a session where we're talking about Tampa's own Black Wall Street, Central Avenue, as well as the Deuces in St. Pete. And again, there are many, as Eddie was speaking of before, there are many Black Wall Streets that have existed. We've had our own Rosewood right here in Florida. So there are many that have existed, and it is time for us to make sure that we remember them. Because what I've been telling people is we will not forget. Now, we know they made great sacrifices and many negative things happen, but we won't forget, and it certainly won't stop us from building. And so that's one of the things that we're doing with this event. At 7 o'clock on that night, we are going to have a social mixer. Just going to relax, enjoy some music, let's network, and let's talk about what we're going to do for the next day, which is Saturday, October the 9th. And on the 9th, we're going to start, as Mikaela mentioned earlier, with a yoga session, which should be really good, at 10 o'clock a.m. There will also be at 11 o'clock, there's going to be a podcast that is going to happen. And then also at 11 o'clock begins the Small Business Expo, where all of the vendors will be out and available on the campus for people to come and visit, to talk to find out who's doing what, who has what going on,
Bring
and
some
of
money.
course, and bring some money, so you can shop with these vendors, most certainly. And beginning at noon is when our sessions will start. We have 3 sessions that will happen beginning at noon, talking about building your business, those that have survived, these small businesses especially, that have survived during this pandemic. So we want to hear from them. We want these small business owners to not give up. So we want you to know that there is help and there is information, and also generational wealth. That one is so very important to me. And as we were talking about what we were going to do, we being the committee, and we were talking about the sessions that we were going to have, I was involved with that, but my thing was we definitely have to do generational wealth. Whatever else you all decided was fine, but that one was important. And so we will be hosting that as well. 7:30 at the Tampa Theater will be the feature film, The Pursuit of Happiness. The total cost of the tickets are $11.50. So you're welcome to come out with us as a community. And then Sunday, there are 2 virtual workshops that will go on. So we won't be on the campus Sunday, but you'll be able to watch us Facebook Live at the Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan. On their Facebook page, you'll be able to watch us live. And again, to get information about this or to follow up, go to THAP Group, THAP Group.org, THAPgroup.org, and check us out for the Black Wall Street Experience, October 8th through the 10th, 2021. We are ready, and we hope that the community is ready to support us. And one of the things that I believe in, first of all, is we have to support each other, everybody. And I am a proponent that when we all come up, we all come up.
That's like that rising tide lifts all boats, except for the ones with a hole in the bottom. You know, ain't nothing gonna lift them but a crane.
Right.
Yeah, and again, Eddie, you know, I keep telling people, get off the couch, stop complaining, stop being a part of the problem that you're complaining about, and start being a part of the solution. And when you take the time to invest in yourself and getting free knowledge that can help you hopefully grow a business or start a business. Doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you can get up, move around, and your brain's still working and you know when to go to the bathroom, you should be able to get some of this stuff accomplished to help yourself. But as long as you rely on somebody else to take care of you, ain't nothing free.
Yeah. Okay, so at this time, what we're gonna do,
Oh my goodness.
on this day.
Time is flying.
For those who this is your first time listening, what we do every day in America is American history. So what we do is every week, I'd say on this day, and I tell you when certain things happen. And I have had people call me because we have missed on this day, so only a couple of times. We missed it. People call and remind us because they actually listen and they get little trivia bits and pieces. So again, it's informative and it's something we do because I have started hearing people on TV shows doing on this day, and I know they ain't been doing it for 10 years.
No, they're copying us.
So they may have heard it,
ready to show.
And they say, well, this sounds like a good idea, and they say that's the best form of flattery is when somebody copies something you're doing. So anyway, on this day, October the 2nd, 1967, Thurgood Marshall was sworn in. He was the first African-American member of the U.S. Supreme Court. So he got sworn in on this day. On this day, October the 2nd, in 1977. And this may not concern a lot of you, but to a lot of you it may be important. The bodies of Elvis Presley and his grandmother were moved to Graceland. So their bodies are at Graceland.
But they're dead.
His estate, they're dead. Yeah, dead. They've been dead for a while. Well, Elvis has left the building, a while ago. So
Ash-wise, yeah.
Anyway. Okay. And last but not least, we don't have a lot today, but on this day,
a lot of stuff happened.
October the 2nd, 1998, Hawaii sued the petroleum companies, claiming that the drivers of their state were overcharged about $73 million a year in price fixing for the gas. So they figured, y'all can't get gas no other way. We can gouge y'all to make the price higher than everybody else. And they sued the petroleum companies and won.
And won.
Gave one.
That reminds me, Facebook and Google just put a guy in jail, and this guy had been billing Facebook and Google for years on miscellaneous bills. He knew to go to the disbursement department and send it to them, and they would just pay it. He had made over $115 million sending Google and Facebook random bills, and they would just pay it. And finally, somebody started to question, who is this guy? What is it? Why are we paying all them smart people there? So as we go forward, folks, there's so much that's been going on in the news. I do my best to try and cherry pick the good stuff for us. So here's a good one for you, a funny one. Wife says, "I am not talking to you." Her husband responds, "Okay." The wife says, "Don't you want to know the reason?" Husband says, "No, I respect and trust your decision." That's a wise man right there. Moving on in the news, let's see. Boy, there's so much going on here. Rat attacks are up in Baltimore because ain't nobody cleaning up anything out there, I guess. I don't know. TikTok bans a black influencer for bullying the most powerful man in the world, Mr. Biden. I guess his feelings got hurt. Gee, look at what they did to Trump. He didn't complain.
Soon as Gabriel finish his rant, then we'll get to the callers.
Okay, then also let me keep on moving here. We got plenty of good stuff happening, folks. Let's see. It's Mrs. Psaki that works for the White House spokesperson says it is unfair and absurd that companies would raise costs to consumers due to higher taxes. If that's not the most retarded thing you can possibly hear. Meanwhile, restaurants in San Francisco refusing to serve unvaccinated, but the best they can do to respond back is you can still poop in the street. Let's see here. We got the FDA approved Chantix. If you guys ever taken Chantix, FDA approved it with warnings in 2007. 2008, they started having suicidal issues with the drug. 2011, it had neuropsychiatric symptoms. And then 2015, cardiovascular stuff started happening. And then 2016, mental health side effects. They finally had it recalled. And they want us to trust them. Let's see here. Oh, so much. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. White House, Mr. Fauci says, we may never go back to normal after Corona. That was April the 6th, all right? Fauci predicts Christmas, by the Christmas time, we should be back to normal. That was February 18th. Oh, wait a minute. Fauci came back and says vaccinated people will still have to measure risk factors in activities. I thought they were vaccinated. Then Dr. Fauci says, oh, life could go back to normal by June. That was on December 23rd, 2020. And then August, Dr. Fauci says U.S. could return to normal by spring of 2022. It is safe to say this fraud has no idea what the heck he's talking about, but he gets paid more than the president to give us wrong advice, and we can get that for half price with Biden as we're doing now. Going forward here, professor sues the UCLA after he was suspended for refusing to grade black students differently than white students. So the answer to the liberals was to lower the standards for black people so they could remain dumb and the white students could still continue to get their scores right. Folks, this is stupidity all along. If this isn't racism right here, let's keep the standard low for the black people so they can continue to get, all right, I have so much more faith in Dog the Bounty Hunter finding Brian Laundrie, the scumbag, than I do the FBI. It's not even close. Seems to me the FBI can only capable of solving the messes they have created. California parents request judge to block public schools from asking students to pray to the Aztec god. Let's see here. Surgeon General's bedside manner, or the surgeon, his bedside manner can be a bit weird. He asked the patient, do you have a dog? The person said, yes, why? The doctor said, if I can't save your leg, do you want me to keep the bone for him? You know, folks, it's all about perspective.
All right. Thank you, and let me do this before we get the last caller in for the day, so everybody would know and understand. The valedictorian for Harvard this term was a black young man that went to Morehouse.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. The news people didn't say that.
Law school valedictorian was a black man. Anyway, okay, let's see if we get the last caller in. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Let's make it short. Go.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
How you doing there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard this. I heard the show had a good show. I got one little issue here. All those people sponsoring, all of that. That's a good thing. Those banks and all that. But if they leave the black people with the ideas and entrepreneurs some money out of their banks, I'm talking about some real money to start businesses. You know, we could go somewhere.
Yes.
Talk to me.
Okay.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, I gotta say this, and it's gonna take a little time. You said, but for those who are regular listeners to this show, a couple years ago, we had a campaign which we was trying to get black bank, black credit union here in the Tampa Bay area, and there's a lot of work done behind the scenes, and I didn't talk about it every week because I didn't want to jinx it, you know. And we went through it, and then for those who was around that time, remember much of the conversation. And the conversation didn't just go away. We had got David Strass, a big influential person in this area, who was a banker himself, and we had formed a little committee, and many of you may not have heard this, but we had had an agreement where David Strass was helping us find a bank. You know, he said, don't start from scratch. Go buy a bank. And nobody that we knew, none of us black folks, and I'm saying it straightforward, had $5 million extra dollars lying around to buy an already existing black bank and get it started for black folks in Tampa Bay. And then, unexpectedly, David Strass died. So that idea is still a good idea, but what we got to do and what we had to do is find another sponsor who could make it happen in one fell swoop. So Mr. Coffee, thank you. We tried, we got there, and then I ain't gonna say God, but God stepped in, and He had other plans for Mr. David Strass, and the community not only lost a great citizen and a supporter of the cause, but so now we are kind of dependent upon ourselves again. But that don't mean it can't happen. It just means we got to turn and get the right situation and get the right folks together, and we can have our own black bank and our own black credit union. And with that said, I am thankful that we are here, and we're looking forward to the Black Wall Street experience. That whole thing happening, and again, if you don't do anything except go and learn, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and sometimes, I during my college experience, it's a lot of people between college and high school that didn't go to class. I wasn't the smartest one there, but I'm gonna tell you something. Because I was there, I learned stuff. I picked up stuff. Everybody. Some people can study stuff. I'm a person that's there. I suck in information and knowledge, from my presence. So if you one of them kind of stuff, and a lot of black folks are like that, it's important that you're there. Just being there, you're gonna meet some people you wouldn't have met. You're gonna see some stuff you didn't know, and you're gonna remember some stuff, and it's gonna be part of your life. So if you do nothing else next weekend, go get involved with the Black Wall Street experience. And until next week, same bat time, same bat channel. This is Eddie Adams Jr. and Gabriel and Tim doing what we do every week here at Porch Talk Radio. See ya.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.